All right, this will be our final video recording of the Final Cut Pro tutorial that we're doing for Digital Media Production 1. And I want to open it up for any questions. Let's take a look at what we've got here. Do you have any questions about the content in our browser? How did we get things into our browser, the content? How did we start the project timelines, like the raw body clip or the intro? Any questions there? Any questions about the tools that are down at the base of our canvas screen? For example, if I had been on Bloomies and I want to transform Bloomies, I can click the transform button or the crop button or the distort, but we use transform and crop. And with transform and crop, you can change the size of the image. Of course, we're not going to want to, we're not going to want to do that. Look at what it does to the overall image over a raw dialog. Like, why would we want to do that, right? So I'll Control Z undo that. And, you know, you can change and alter any of the screen sizes here. There's no reason why I'd want more browser than I'd want canvas screen. So the canvas screen, I'll end up pulling the corner of it. There it is. And lengthen that so that it's as big as it can possibly be. Now, Noah Tolentino, why would I want to increase the size of my view of my canvas?
Because you can't really see.
Can't really see what?
Like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like zoomed in a little bit.
Well, right now it is, but you know, like, what's the difference between looking at a detailed image like this versus what if I were to shrink my overall view of the screen? Let me pull the screen. Hold on just a moment. I'm wondering why it's not getting me to the edge. There's the edge. And that's just of the video. Hold on. I want the actual side of the... There it is. So versus looking at my canvas in a size like that, what's the advantage?
You probably, I mean, for this one, you can see the details.
Well, in this one, I really can't, right? Because I just shrank the size of it. So
Yeah.
if I was to enlarge the size of it, let's get to the enlarging part. Now I can see details, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's better to have it larger. So let's explain this bit for a second. Have you ever looked at video editors' workbays and they have a working screen and then they have a second monitor off to the side? We have that in our studio. You've seen that?
No, I have not.
You have not. Well, just for an extra clue, a video editor's bay will end up looking like typically a work screen and then a second monitor to the side. And that second monitor to the side, if you're looking here, you can place this canvas screen on a full-size monitor that's 24 inches or 30 inches large. And to see every detail is really advantageous because when we're editing, as I'm editing this entire timeline, there's little tiny details that when it gets blown up to a big television screen, it looks very different. In fact, check this out. That looks very different, doesn't it?
If you look at the Lindy Hop, you see a couple just moving. They're constantly moving. They're always on the go. They go around the circle, mostly clockwise, sometimes reverse. There's a lot of stops, a lot of spins, a lot of...
That looks very different, right, Noah? When I full screen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can see a lot more detail when it's larger. So again, this is a reason why in monitoring, when you're working on things, the equipment that you use, like if I have a very tiny laptop screen, like a 13-inch MacBook, and my viewer, my canvas is really, really tiny, it's going to be hard to see really good detail when I'm editing. So just a point to be taken. All right, we're going to do a bit of a review. Morella, you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's review what we need to take care of right now, because I'll say what we've done. We've created the intro. We've got a sound score down below it. It moves right into Rob and his dialogue. I think his name is Rob, so we're going to have to figure out how we're going to take care of that. Then it's all the things that he talks about. People moving around in a circle. And there's a really cool transition. And then it comes back to Rob. And then it's the overhead clip. And then we got to find a way out. And we've also got to do some other things. So what do we have left to do? Remember, we brought in a sound score and it gets really hot. Like, it's really good and loud during the intro.
If you look at the Lindy Hop, you see a couple.
But then when Rob's talking, it's too loud. So what are some of the things we still need to do? Morella?
Yeah.
What are some of the things we still need to do in terms of the edit?
I'm not sure.
Is the sound score too hot while Rob's talking? Too loud?
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say that's the next thing we're going to do. In fact, I'll do a quick review of what we need to do. We need to drop that audio while Rob is talking and then bring it back up. And there's a very unique technique of being able to fade it down slightly when he starts talking and fade it back up when he stops talking. Okay? So that's one thing. The second thing is when Rob first comes on the scene, nobody knows that's viewing this that his name's Rob and that he's a dance instructor. So we need to do a lower thirds box stating his name and his position, what he's doing, right? Marilla?
Yeah.
Excellent. And then we need to find a point out and run our credits and run our production logo. And I think, other than adding a transition on the end of overhead clip, I think that'll be it. I think we'll be done. Okay? So let's do first things first. Hayden Brown, how will I dip down the audio of the sound score while Rob is talking? How will I do that? Do you have any idea?
Do you right click it and then adjust it there, or do you just mute the audio that's underneath it? Or then turn it down?
So right click and mute. So here's the deal. What I don't want to do, Hayden, I want the sound score to be present. I don't want it to be mute. One bad technique would be to, say, grab the cutting tool and cut the clip right when Rob starts talking, the sound score. If I cut the clip, right? And then let's go back to the selection tool. And here's the audio line. Do you see it's at 0 decibels? See where my mouse is on the audio line of the sound score?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what if I grab that audio line and dropped it all the way down to 0? Now it's what you said, which is mute, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
misspoke. I meant to say like quieter, not mute.
Exactly. Okay, so quieter, because some people are like, well, just mute the sound score. Well, listen to how this sounds with it muted.
If you look at the Lindy Hop, you'll see a couple just moving. They're constantly moving.
That's weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns
Yeah, I think
totally.
you have to lower the.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think if you lower the jump time, I think you have to lower the jump time music a little bit, and then we can hear him and the music and beyond. But
Okay.
you need to make the jump time music
Oh.
more silenter.
More silenter. Okay. So we'll keep it as background.
Yeah.
It'll be background. Yes. So I'm going to undo my volume adjustment. I'm going to undo my cut, because I can go up here to edit and undo, or do a Control Z, which is the shortcut for it. So here's how the technique works, my friends. It's quite simple. On my keyboard, if you're writing down these little notes, this would be a good note for how to pen mark. It's called a pen tool. How to pen mark the audio so that you can bend it down in terms of volume and create a background of audio. So if you're writing down a little note, here's the steps. I'm going to take it very slowly for you. Step 1. This is called a pen marking tool and bending down audio. Okay, and then we're going to bend it back up. Use the same technique for bending it back up. Step 1, touch the control button on your keyboard. So the control button, watch my mouse. Look at my mouse down here on the audio line, okay? Right now it's an up and down volume adjuster. See this? Like here it is as a pointer, but when it's on the volume line, it's an up and down volume adjuster. Watch what happens when I hold the control key in on my keyboard. Oops. Or option key. Ah, my bad. Scratch control key. Right in option key. Now, if you look at your keyboard, you guys, to the left and right of your space bar is the command key, then the option key, then the control key. So if I hit the option key, watch what happens to my mouse. It becomes a pen marking tool. So here I am, look at my mouse on the audio track. Here I am before Rob starts talking. I'm going to click a bending mark right there by clicking my mouse. Then I'm going to go just right after Rob starts talking and click again. That's my bending tool. I'm holding in the option key while I do that. Now I let go of the option key and it no longer is a pen marking tool. Now watch this. The next step, I can grab that second little marking button that I just clicked on the audio track and pull it down. Do you guys see how it is fading it downward? So Hayden, just like what we were talking about, we wanted it not gone. We wanted it to be backgroundish. So I pull it down about 15 decibels. Let's check and see audibly if we can hear what Rob's saying, but the music is still present. Check it out.
If you look at the Lindy Hop, you'll see a couple just moving. They're constantly moving. They're always on the go. They go around in a circle.
All right. I think it sounds pretty good. What do you think about that, Chase Domino?
Pretty good.
So you're hearing Rob talk, but you're also hearing the sound score in the background. It sounds good, right?
Yeah, it's not too loud.
All right, so Chase, based on what I just did, the tools that I used to bend it down, watch this. I'm going to scrub forward on my timeline, and here Rob stops talking. I want to bring the sound score back up. So what do I do in reverse of what I just did to do pen marking tool?
You hit the options key.
Okay, I click the option key. Look what it did to my mouse. So look at my mouse. It's on the audio track right now. So I click the option key and you see it turns it into a pen marking tool, right?
Yeah.
Should I mark just before he ends in talking?
No.
I think so, because what I want this to do is watch. When I click there and I click afterwards, as I pull the pen marking tool up, back up to 0 decibels, which is the level that it was originally recorded at, it does a bend up while he stops talking, right? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen to it and see if we think it sounds good. Here we go.
You use your arms. You use your hips. You use everything in your body to accentuate what you hear in the music.
Jumptown, now cut that frown, man. Don't be no square.
Pretty good. You like that, Chase?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I like it.
All right, so Chase Castleberry, we're going to try to find an out point here. An out point would be when the dancers
When
let's say this. Let's do, boy, do we still have more sound score? We don't. I have an idea for that. I have an idea for what we'll do for the sound score or for the credits. Okay, so Chase Castleberry, you're going to work with me on how do we close this out? Where do we end it? Check this out. Let's listen to the audio track.
Music.
Jumptown, now cut that frown, man. Don't be no square.
I think when he says, man, don't be no square, bam, that little horn right there is typically bam, is typically a good point out.
Now cut that from, man. Don't be no square.
You think that's good?
You're talking about when to like fade the audio out, right?
Yeah, well, when to kill it, basically.
Oh, it's going like off at once. It's going away at once.
Yeah, I'm suggesting like we cut the end of the overhead clip right here at this point to that point, and we cut the end of the audio track. Now check this out, Chase. This is another little technique. You see that little dot? When I'm on the audio track, see that little dot right about there, right above my mouse?
Yeah.
That's called a dithering end to my audio. Watch this when I grab it. Do you see that little fade that it's creating right there? Isn't that rad?
Mm-hmm.
Is rad a good word for it? Megan Christian can give me a look. She's like, rad? Okay. It's going to be rad, dude. It's going to be tubular, man. Okay, so listen. What if I do that little feather fade on the end? Let's listen to the audio as we cut out.
Accentuate what you hear in the music.
Jumptown, now cut that from, man. Don't be no square.
You like it?
Maybe a little bit longer.
Ooh, a little longer. Okay. Maybe run the fade a little longer.
Yeah.
How about this?
Jumptown, now cut that from, man. Don't be no square.
You like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do something with the video so that it squares out on the end because I like trickiness. So I'm going to go to my transitions, my transition box, and grab something that squares out. Maybe this checker. Don't be no square. That's kind of rectangular, not square. Let's keep looking. I'm going to look for a square out. Mosaic. Don't be no square. That's kind of cool. Do you like it? Oh, there's squares. Don't be no square. Okay, let's grab that. We're going to grab the squares transition, pop it on the end. It also wants to pop it on the beginning, so I'm going to get rid of it from the beginning and delete it. Let's close this transitions box window. Let's watch our transition at the end and see how it ends off.
To accentuate what you hear in the music.
Jumptown, now cut that from, man. Don't be no square.
I didn't see any transition. That's weird. Let's Let's try a different transition because that one didn't seem to do anything. I don't know why. What's up with that? Let's try Mosaic just to see what's up. And play it out at the end. Wait for the render to go away. Check it out.
Man, don't be no square.
Let's extend that square effect so it's a little longer. So when he says don't be no square, we see it.
In the music.
Jumptown, now cut that from, man. Don't be no square.
We like it, Chase?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. So I'm going to close out there. My audio sound score sounds good. I like where it lowers down while Rob's talking and it raises back up when he stops talking. So, Ryan Mancuso, what do I need to do here at the beginning to introduce in Rob after the intro?
You need to give in the lower thirds with the name and like his profession.
Okay, so here's where I could go and get a title, a template for a title. Here's where I can go and get credits. And this is also where I can go and grab lower thirds. Watch this where I go here, Ryan. We're going to go up to the upper left-hand corner where we work within the film. There's an audio box and there's also a text box. This text box, when I click on it, gives me all kinds of text templates for titles and credits and lower thirds. You got to kind of play with them. Like I literally just swipe my playhead through it just to see what it looks like. Oh, that's a simple title with subtitle template. Oh, this is a bubble cloud that pops up on a lower thirds. I'm still looking for lower thirds. That's date and time. I don't want that. That's a title. Don't want that. There's Star Wars stuff. Woo, that's cool. Takes a long time to develop. This one's way too fancy and funky. This could be cool. Name and description right there. But I think I'm looking for like a black box, not a white box. Let's keep looking. That's cool. A faded white box on both sides is cool. But look at this gradient edge. You don't see the black box, but look when my mouse is off of it. See it right here? You can see that that has a black box lower third. The gradient edge. So if I grab that template and drag it down to my timeline, snap to the beginning of Rob, okay, it overlaps. Oh, look at that. That's exactly what I want, right? A lower thirds box where I can type in his name, put in his description, but I don't want it to run while the dancers are dancing. So I want to cut the end of this to the beginning of Bloomy's clip. Boom. And I'm going to hope that this lower thirds template stays long enough for me to be able to read it. So we'll check it out. So if I click on it, I'm able to go up here. Actually, I'm able to click on the actual line of it on the screen of the canvas and change it. So where it says name, I'm going to click on that. And it pops up here in my editor bay box. See this where it says name? So I'll highlight name and I'll type in Rob Smith. Okay. Looks good. I'm going to go to where it says description and click on that.
So it's kind of like an interview or documentary of some sort.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah, it's like a mini doc or an interview. It's like almost like a newscast piece almost. Almost. But in fact, where this would be used would be an infomercial, so to speak, for their website. And a lot of video editors will do this for different people's websites where they want to introduce either something that they offer at the place of business or the products that they offer or just a little history or background about their company. Right?
Yeah.
So where it says description, I'm going to type in, what is Rob, by the way? Andrew Camacho. What is Andrew? What's his title? Andrew Camacho.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what?
All right, my man. What is Rob's description? What does he do? Who is he?
Not really sure he's Rob.
He's Rob. What's he telling us all the way through this video?
About dancing.
So why is he an authority figure on talking about dancing?
That he's a dance instructor.
Booyah! Andrew, that's his title. Dance. Am I the only one excited about this? I think I am. Good Lord. Dance in struct. Now, what if I misspelt it? Structor instead of structor. And I left that. Is it going to tell me? No. It's going to pop up like a bad word. That's not good, my friends. So you got to know how to spell, because if you pop up an incorrect spelling, it will stay. Now, I think that's a little small. Dance instructor. So I am going to increase the font size just slightly so it's a little easier to read. You could change the alignment. I could center it. I don't want that. I could space it so that it's, well, it's the only line spacing. I can make it stretch. Ooh, I kind of like the stretch. Dance instructor. In fact, I want that on Rob Smith too. So I'm going to click on the Rob Smith line and do a tracking stretch. And maybe a font increase just slightly, not too much. Rob Smith, dance instructor. Let's see if the stay time is good. So Sophia Cazares.
Yes.
Okay, check it out. You tell me if the stay time is good enough. Long enough to read it.
If you look at the Lindy Hop, you'll see a couple just...
What do you think, Sophia?
About what? Which part at the beginning?
I'm sorry. His lower thirds. Did we have enough time to read it? Let's play it. You read it in real time, okay?
If you look at the Lindy Hop, you'll see a couple.
Good enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, because listen to me. Like, here's your test, ladies and gentlemen. As you read a text, you should read it as slow as a normal slow reader. Watch, I'll do this right now. Rob
If you look at the
Smith,
Lindy
dance
Hop,
instructor.
You'll see a couple.
Woo! It just had enough time for me to finish. And that's perfect. And did you guys see the effect? Like, it fades in, and right on the tail end of it, it naturally fades off. I love that. That's what's so nice about these templates, because you guys don't have to do all that work. You don't have to add a fade off and a fade in on it. It has it already in the template for that lower thirds box. Really cool, you guys. Really, really cool. Man, we are almost done. Let's check this out. I want to squeeze this on the timeline for full view. Let's review it. I'm going to have Tim Gonzalez. So I'm going to have you review this with me. Tell me at the end if there was anything you made note of that we need to fix or clean up. Let's check it out from the beginning.
If you look at the Lindy Hop, you'll see a couple just moving. They're constantly moving. They're always on the go. They go around in a circle, mostly clockwise, sometimes reverse. There's a lot of stops, a lot of spins, a lot of boogie-woogie steps. You use your whole body. So you kick, you use your arms, you use your hips, you use everything in your body to accentuate what you hear in the music.
Jumptown, now cut that from, man. Don't be no square.
What do you think, Tim?
I think it's pretty good. I don't think there was anything that stood out to me. That was
Pre-
bad, I guess.
Pretty good. This was amazing. Are you guys not amazed by how amazing this looks right now? Are you not in awe of how incredible this looks? Look at this intro. What? That's unbelievable. Who gets intros like that? Most people just get a weird little title that pops up on a screen. Look at that. That's special. And then Rob pops on. Bam! He's looking good. The image looks good. It's well framed. The audio quality is great. We know who he is, what he's doing. All the timing of all these clips were fantastically positioned. Excellent looking B-roll. There's a lot of stops. It's like a magic music video. The transition we use looked cool and appropriate. We come back at Rob. We go back to the overhead. And boom, we got this cool little don't be no square. Boom. And we're out. That's incredible. All right. That's what we want. We want cheerleaders in this class. People that get excited. All right. So listen, there's got to be, we got to close this out. So I would say, Campbell, Flight, work with me on this. The last thing we need to do is credits and a production logo. And that'll cap it because we've got title, we've got a full story and body and edit, and then we need credits and production logo. So how are we going to create the production logo? And we've already created a production logo. I'll tell you what, I'll bring that in. In fact, I think I got Keely. I think I've got your production logo exported and saved. So we're going to use yours. So let me step up and do that real quick. I'm going to right click and import in media. And I'm going to grab from my desktop, if I'm accurate. I believe I saved Keely's. I think I put it into my swing dancing tutorial folder. Period 1. Oh no. Maybe I didn't. Where did I put it? There it is. I put it on my desktop. What a mess. Keely, you remember this? I think you did it. Here, I'm going to double click it. I think you did it in Motion, or maybe we did.
I think we did, because I don't remember me ever making that.
All right, so I think we did, but we like it, right? Sure. I'll bring it onto the timeline. So let me stick with this. So Raya, actually I'll go Nick Ward. Nick Ward, you with me?
Yeah.
So let's go with credits and then the production logo. Production logos are always a nice way to end it. So where am I going to go to get credits based on where you know we grab text already?
So you got a text where you need the moving text, and then there's the one where I forgot the name for it, where it's scrolling upwards.
Yep, I think it's called scrolling text. In fact, you know what? If I went into the, because look how many.
Oh, I think you passed it.
Yeah, but
I think I saw it.
yeah, but check this out. I'm gonna show you a quicker and easier way. See all these different texts? There's a ton of them, right? That's a lot to filter through. So what if I go all the way back up to the top and I hit search and I typed in scroll, S-C-R-O. There it is. Smart move, right?
Yeah, it's a lot easier.
Okay, Nick, let's go ahead and put the credits down on the timeline. How we do it?
You have to drag that down to where you want it. I'm sorry, you have to drag like the box. Yeah.
Okay. So there it is on the end of my timeline. Let's play it from the beginning. You know what? I don't want that to be part of the fade in. I want it to be on the line just below. And it pops in, so I have to go to position to move its position. So that when it pops in, oh, see, it goes over the square out right there. So I need to move it in terms of positioning so that it comes in as soon as the square out goes away. Boom, and then the title pops up. Okay, there we go. Does that look good for timing?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so let's go ahead and give ourselves some credits. We'll click on this and go to title. And the title, I guess, will be, we'll just call it credits. You could call it credits, or you could just make it pop up as credits. So we're going to do a credits. And then go down to the next line, which is name. And it's Rob Smith. Description is dance instructor. Cool. And the next is going to be Rob Cakeley. And I was the editor. So there's our talent. Let's see, did I produce? Did I film this? No. Frank Johnson was the videographer. And Mom Cakeley was the caterer. This is a little joke. I'm a funny guy right now this morning. Caterer. What else? Let's see. Sound score. So sound score was from killertracks.com. And we don't need the rest, so I'm going to delete description and name on all the rest of them, because there's others in the template. So I highlight those, because check this out. If I don't delete those, watch what happens when the credits play, okay? Cool, 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 cool. And I don't need all that name and description crap at the end, so let's get rid of that. So I go back up here to where the name and description stuff is at. And I'm going to highlight all of that stuff at the end and hit the delete button. Now, do I need the sound score to go that long? Probably not. We'll play that out in a second here as the render line goes away. Okay, so let's play this out at the end.
And don't be no square.
Credits: Rob Smith, dance instructor; Rob Cakeley, editor; Frank Johnson, videographer; Mom Cakeley, caterer; Soundscore, KillerTracks.com. I could have that run a little faster, so here's how I'm going to speed it up. I'm going to shorten the length of it. I'm going to wait for this render bar to go away right up here at the top. So I got to sit and wait. Going, going, going. Almost gone. Oh, there it is. Gone. Let's play it.
Be no square.
All right. Runs fast enough for me to be able to read all of it. And it's done. Now I could go back to the film portion. Grab Keeley's production logo. I like to overlap it slightly, because I want that to come in. And actually what I'll do is a little fade. I'll do a gradient cross dissolve on the beginning and end of Keeley's production logo. So let's look at the end on that.
And don't be no square.
Credits. Production logo. Man, that takes a long time. That is a slow production logo. Huh. And maybe I bring back in the sound score again. So I'll grab the sound score. And run that behind the credits. And lower the volume just a touch. And cut it right at the end. And get rid of the excess of Jumptown AIF and delete it. And delete this blank. And fade it off on the edge. And so check that out.
Cut that from, man. Don't be no square.
Starts off a little abruptly, so I'm going to dither fade it in.
Music.
Jumptown, now cut that from, man. Don't be no square.
All right, we got ourselves a little entertaining recap of the sound score behind the scrolling credits, behind the production logo. We've got a good ending. We've got it fully edited. It's a done deal. I would say as a package, we're done with this piece. So the last thing we need to do when you're done with the film is to export it, my friends, into a compressed film. So here's how you do the export process. When you're finally finished, and I want to turn in this project, or I want to upload it to YouTube, or I want to play it just on a video player rather than in my software. Here's the step-by-step process. Here we go. File. Share. Apple devices 1080p. I'll leave it there for a moment. File. Share. Apple devices 1080p. Here we go. I'm going to send it to, let me check my settings. Everything's good there. Roles, you guys wouldn't even know what that's all talking about. Let's not worry about that right now. Let's just stick with the template of info. We're going to hit next. We're going to send it to our folder on the desktop in my project, which is the NTSC Swing Tutorial, period 1. We're going to call this Swing Dancing Today Final Cut. And we'll send it to our folder. So now it's exporting. I go up here to this circle. It'll show me the process. Don't do anything on your computer while this is exporting. Let it use all of its memory in the computer to push and export this video out. If you do other things or you interrupt this process, you'll corrupt the file. I repeat, if you do anything in Final Cut or try to close out Final Cut while this process is occurring of exporting, you'll corrupt the file and the video file will not work. So this is a very important process to be patient with. If this was a 3 to 5 minute video, this process would probably take about 3 to 5 minutes. This is a 45-second video, and it's taking about 45 seconds to export. So it typically takes the amount of time that the video length is, depending upon how fast your computer is, how powerful your CPU unit is, so on and so forth. So it's kind of stalling on 88%. There we go. All right, it's done. So it's finished. We can now do a playback. So I'm going to share my folder that we sent that to. So on the desktop, we sent it to the NTSC tutorial. There it is, the Final Cut file. I'm going to double click it. I'm going to share that screen with you all.
If you look at the Lindy Hop, you'll see a couple just move.
And you guys know the rest, so it looks good. We are rocking. All right, and that is it for Final Cut. The last thing I'm going to do is show you guys how to bleep out some of these cuss words, and so we'll make it kind of funny, and we'll take that next. So let me stop the record here.